What's going on, guys, and welcome to Who to Sign For. Now in this series I'm giving you my recommendations on what players to sign for a specific team in career mode. But before we go on, I will say that the signings you'll see aren't designed to be realistic, and that the player ratings and potentials of the players may vary depending on what database you're using and how they perform for you during the season. Obviously you don't have to follow all the tips. This is really just a set of guidelines to give you a hand if you're stuck for ideas and want some suggestions of what players you could sign for a certain club. This is mainly aimed at those who are out there who may be new to the game. I just need a little bit of advice, or for those who are out there who want a few recommendations on what players to sign for a team that you may be using in career mode this year. So yes, in today's episode of Who to Sign For, guys, we are going to take a look at Leeds United of the Championship in England. Yes, my first second tier team in this Who to Sign For series. And Leeds United, as we know, since being relegated from the Premier League all those years ago, have been trying so desperately to get back into the top flight. And it seems like every single season, I think Leeds are going to get promoted and go back to the Premier League. They haven't managed to do it just yet, but they got a really good chance this season and a really great opportunity to return to top flight football. Now, Leeds United started with a budget of around £15 million. With wage budget or ratio, you can get it to around £20 million. And their objectives for the first season are, unsurprisingly, to win the league title in the Championship, so go up top of the division and reach the round of 32 in the FA Cup as well. And with the side you've got, it's one of the stronger sides in the Championship. You've got one of the stronger budgets in the Championship as well. It's definitely doable, no doubt about it. There's no reason why you shouldn't be getting promoted, that's for sure. The bare minimum you should be looking for with Leeds United in the first season is automatic promotion in second place. But with the team you've got and the money you've got as well, you should be able to win the title in the first season. The Championship is, for those who don't watch it, a very competitive division. It's very, very tough to get out of it. It's incredibly hard. It's very competitive. But with the side that Leeds have got, you should be able to top the tree come the end of the season. Actually reach around 32 in the FA Cup as well. All you got to do there is get through one round and you meet that objective and you are done. So Leeds' side, as you can see, is very decent indeed. You've got a couple of decent young players as well, such as Calvin Phillips, Shackleton as well. You've got young Tyler Roberts there too, so some decent young talent at Leeds United. And also as well, you can see you've got quite a few players on loan this season as well, such as Helder Costa, Augustine, of course, Jack Harrison too. And you've got 3 players out of contract. You've got Miazek, Casey and Berardi. I'll give Oliver Casey a contract. He's an 18-year-old centre-half. He's only 60 overall, but he has mid to high 70 potential, so could become a very decent player in the future with when you nurture him with game time and also perhaps loaning him out as well. The 2 players I put on the transfer list are Barry Douglas, very good left-back, don't get me wrong, but 29 years old and on a very high salary now too, and also Wassim Boy, I think is how you pronounce that. He's a Moroccan centre-half, it's only 62 overall and also 26 years old. So personally speaking, those are the 2 players I put on the transfer list. So I know that Barry Douglas is very good, don't get me wrong, but again, 29 years old, 71 rated. You've already got someone in your Leeds team that's better than him and younger as well in Alioski, and he's more versatile too. And again, Barry Douglas's contract is like 32 grand a week. That's a lot to pay for a 71 overall left back. That's also 29 years old as well. But still, you will notice that Douglas does reject the move to Saudi Arabia, but we do manage to negotiate a deal of £2 million with Ghent, the Belgian side, so he does end up going there, spoiler alert. And Boy also rejected his first offer as well. We do manage to sell him at the second time of asking, I do believe. So yeah, we get around £2 million for Barry Douglas, and I think again it was like £290,000 for Wassim Boy. Those 2 players on the transfer list that we managed to sell. But as for new signings with this Leeds United side, well, you saw the team earlier. It's a very good side with a 4-1-4-1 system or a 4-5-1, if you will. But my number one recommendation for positions to sign and strengthen this Leeds United team are the fullback areas. Now, of course, you're going to sell Barry Douglas as it is, and Alioski is decent, but you can improve on him. And also on the right back area, you've got Luke Ayling, who I've always been a big fan of, but again, you can get better and younger as well. So from the left back originally, that's what we go for first and foremost. There are 2 targets I would recommend, and the first one is this young lad here. It's Adria Pedrosa, a Spanish left back who is 21 years old and 74 rated, currently playing for Espanyol. He's valued at £9.5 million, £, you're probably going to have to pay a little bit more than that. We agreed a deal of £9.5 million. Sorry, I think it said it was £9.5 million valuation. He's valued at £7.5 million, but you should have to pay around £9.5 to £10 million. We paid £9.5 million for him. And the other player I'd recommend is Owen Vindal as well, who's also 74 rated, but 2 years younger than Pedrosa. And again, you're probably paying around £9.5 to £10 million for either of them. Now again, either options would be great. They are both 74 rated with pretty similar stats to begin with, and they both have the same potential as well, which is 84. So they're quite like for like players. Vindal is on a cheaper contract, and he's also 2 years younger as well. So really, I would recommend just whatever the best deal is, you go after that player. In this case, it was Pedrosa. It was 500 grand cheaper, so I went after him. Just depends on what's the cheaper deal. If, for example, Vindal was cheaper and you got him for £8 million, but Pedrosa £9.5 million, go for the Dutch lad. But in this case, Pedrosa was cheaper, so we went after him and signed him for £9.5 million. You'll notice the contract we agreed was cheaper than the wage that Barry Douglas was on as well. So what we've done here is we sold Barry Douglas, who's 8 years older. Yes, we've paid more money to get this lad in, but he's higher rated and he's got more potential as well. So Pedrosa comes in, he's our first sign again, 84 potential, starts off 74 overall, so he's a step up on Barry Douglas and Alioski as well, whilst being younger than the pair. He's absolutely rapid, some really great technical stats, including when going forward, high ball control and high crossing as well. So as a left wing back in this team, he's going to provide support for your more offensive players and be a step up from Barry Douglas and younger as well. So the left back area is sorted. We've got our man in Pedrosa, and like I mentioned a moment ago, I would recommend strengthening both fullback positions with this Leeds United side in your first season. So the right back position, who would I recommend for Leeds United career mode? It's this guy right here, Max Aarons of Norwich City. Now you could get Jayden Bogle from Derby County. He would be good as well, but my number one target would be Max. Now Aarons is only 19 years old, but he starts off 73 rated, and with Norwich City as well, they don't hold you to ransom over Aarons as well. We agreed a deal of 5.75 mil plus a measly 4% sell-on clause. That's only 250 grand extra to bring him in, so very good negotiating there with Daniel Farker. And again, at just 19 years old, already 73 rated, that means he's higher rated than Luke Ayling despite being several years younger, and Max Aarons has 85 potential as well. He's one of the best young right backs you can buy in the game, and he will be an absolute steal at $5.75 million. So we've got our two new fullbacks in. Those are the positions I'd recommend strengthening with Leeds, both the left back and the right back role. We've got Pedrosa from the left hand side, and now Max Aarons comes in on the right hand side. And he got 85 potential with dynamic potential and player training. You can get this guy to around 87, 88 overall when it's all said and done, and he'd become one of the best fullbacks in world football. He's got some great stats to begin with, including 84 acceleration, 82 sprint speed, so he's very quick. He can dribble the ball well with high medium work rates and 3-star skill moves with 3-star weak foot 2. And again, he's the same rating as Luke Ayling, but is 8 years younger and thus has far more potential as well. So yeah, definitely recommend Aarons on the right hand side and Pedrosa for the left. You've got your new fullbacks in. That's the main area of concern in your first season with Leeds United. We've got those sorted straight away. So yeah, Pedrosa and Aarons come in. And I'd also recommend selling Gaetano Berardi as well. Now Berardi is your third highest rated centre half, but he's out of contract come the end of the season. He's on pretty high wages and he's only 71 overall as well. I'd recommend selling him and looking to bring in a younger centre half for the bench. We sold Berardi for £1.5 million, and again, he's out of contract in the summer. You're not going to give him a new deal, and also he's under 6 foot as well. And I don't know whether you guys are the same as me, but I like my centre backs to be a minimum of 6 foot or taller. So yeah, I'd recommend selling Berardi as well, and that's what we did there. You won't get much for him, but it cuts his big contract out of the club, and you can now get a younger centre-half who's around the same overall. So for a new third-choice centre-half for Leeds United, I've got quite a few names on the shortlist here you can take a look at. Dale Fry and Ben Godfrey would be the best two. They're both 21 years old and 71 rated with decent potential too, either of which would be really good. But if you're looking for a cheaper option and you want to save your cash a little bit, either of these Spanish centre-halves would be really good as well. You've got Javi Hernandez of Real Madrid, 21 years old, and also Eric Garcia of Manchester City. Now, the young Spaniard is only 18 years old, so he's still a very young lad, but he's 68 rated already, and he's got 85 potential as well. You shouldn't have to pay much over his valuation to get him either. He's valued at 1.6 mil. We agreed a deal of 1.75 mil, so that's just 150 grand over his current market valuation. And with Hernandez, we agreed a deal of £1.9 million. He is a rating higher than Garcia, but he's also 3 3 years older as well and doesn't have as high potential. So it's really up to you who you'd rather get here, either Hernandez or Garcia. But I went for Eric Garcia even, Eric Garcia of Manchester City for 1.75 mil, just because he was cheaper. He's on a much lower contract as well. I love the low high work rates too, and again, this kid's got 85 potential, so grows to become an absolute monster when he's at his full potential. And again, like I mentioned earlier, with the dynamic potential and player training as well, you can get this guy into the high 80s when he's in his prime. So Garcia ends up signing for 1.75 mil, and yes, he is 3 ratings lower than Berardi, I understand that, but again, Berardi right now is 30 years old. He's coming towards the downslope of his career, whereas Garcia has only got the up to go. What? He's only going to get better and better as the years go by. Again, he's got the exciting prospect tag, 85 potential, but again with dynamic potential could be even higher, and 2-star skills, 3-star weak foot, low high work rates. You've got to love that, with 71 jumping as well. So aerially, this guy will be very, very strong indeed. And again, with White and the captain Cooper in your first team for the back four, you don't need a starting centre back. You just need someone for the bench that's going to be good enough from season 2 onwards. Garcia definitely will be. So Garcia, I would certainly recommend for a third choice centre half, but any of the names on there will be great. If you wanted to spend a bit more cash, then Ben Godfrey or Dale Fry, I would say, will be the best 2 options for you for a young English talent, but also Garcia or Hernandez would be great as well. We went for Garcia, and I certainly don't think you would regret that when it's all said and done. So following that signing there, we had a little bit of more money left over to make one more signing, and I decided to go after a new central midfielder for this team. I had loads of names on the shortlist here, and Leeds have got some really good young talented midfielders. Calvin Phillips probably the best of the bunch, but also got Shackleton as well in the reserve. So a lot of good young talent, but I would still recommend bringing in a new creative player for this team in the Leeds United side, because of course they got Hernandez, but as we know, Pablo Hernandez is in his mid-30s now. Whilst he is still a very good technical creative player, he is going to decline in his attributes right from the very first season. So my recommendation is to bring in a new starting midfielder. Again, loads of names on the shortlist there. If you'd rather a more defence-minded player, then you've got the likes of Hamza Chowdhury in there for you. But I personally would recommend someone that's a bit more creative, such as Maicon, or also this guy here from Feyenoord. I'm not sure how you pronounce this name, so I've probably got it wrong. Apologies to my Turkish fans, but Kökçü, not sure how you pronounce that. But this guy here would be a perfect replacement for Pablo Hernandez when the Spaniard gets a little bit too old. Now, he's only 73 rated, yes, but he's only 18 years old, this kid. He's a real hidden gem in the game, with a 5-star weak foot as well, and some amazing technical stats to begin with. We get him in on 13 grand a week, so it's a very cheap contract as well, and he becomes our 4th signing with Leeds United for £5.6 million. And again, when you look at this guy's stats, I will definitely classify this guy as a hidden gem. 5.6 mil is all it takes to bring him in, and again, at 18 years old, you look at his key stats there: agility, stamina, acceleration, balance as well. So physically, he's very good, but also as well, Cam his primary position, CM the secondary, a 5-star weak foot with some really, really awesome technical stats too, with 74 ball control, 75 curve I really like as well. He's got some really awesome stats here, and again, as a creative player in this Leeds United side, once Hernandez begins declining in rating, which he will do straight away, you've got your new creative force in your Leeds midfield 5, and it's Kökçü, who I must say again is a real hidden gem in this game and definitely worth signing. So again, it just 18 years old, 73 rated, grows to 84 overall when it's all said and done. That's his potential, and again, as I often say with dynamic potential, you can get this guy even higher rated, around 86 to 87 overall. So I would definitely recommend Kökçü, and again, you want a more creative player in this Leeds side for once Hernandez starts to decline, and Kökçü will be a fantastic replacement for the Spaniard. So following the signing there of the Turkish midfielder, we had just a little bit of money left over, and decided to make one more final signing for this Leeds United side. Now, of course, you've got Augustine, who is only on loan here at Leeds United, so he'll be gone come the end of the season, despite being a starting striker for your first season in the Championship. And you've got Patrick Bamford for the bench as well, but you haven't got a third choice striker. You've only got 2 official listed strikers here, so I would recommend a third choice for the reserves. You won't play much, but a very young talent that's got high potential. 2 Irish strikers I'd recommend are Troy Parrott from Tottenham Hotspur, very, very talented young striker, and also this guy here, Adam Idah of Norwich City. This guy is 6'3" at 18 years old, so physically very, very good and could work quite well as a target man, but also he's got 76 for both acceleration and sprint speed too. So he's tall, but he's also quick as well. So once this guy hits his full potential, he'll be very good physically. He's got high medium work rates and he's got 84 potential as well. So whilst he's not going to start in this team ahead of Augustine, he's not going to be at the bench in this team ahead of Patrick Bamford. He's one to watch for the future. You'll play him in EFL Cup games and some midweek clashes too. And again, at just 18 years old, 84 potential, he's going to cost you very, very little in terms of his wages and his transfer fee too. And he's one to watch for the future. And for the second season onwards, once Augustine's returned to his parent club from his loan spell, you'll have your backup striker for either Patrick Bamford, or if you want to bring in someone else, that's cool too. So in the end, we sold 3 players in this Leeds United team for 3.79 mil. Boy, Berardi and Douglas, so 2 senior players and a Moroccan centre-half. But you look at the players we signed, 5 players came in, but 4 of the 5 were teenage talents. 3 of them 18 years old, Max Aaron's 19, and the oldest player we signed out of the 5 was Pedrosa at just 21 years old. It's all about building for the future with this Leeds United side as we bring in those young talents, but the question is, could this more youthful Leeds United side finally get the Elland Road faithful back to the Premier League and back into the big time? Well, as you can see, we did indeed, and it was an unbelievable season for Leeds United. 39 wins in 46 championship games and not a single loss to their name, with 124 points on the board. So we smashed a record for most amount of points in a championship season, smashing Reading's record back in 2005, 6, 7, 1-3, but Reading's incredible record-breaking points tally smashed by Leeds with 124 points. Unbelievable how the big teams dominate in this year's career mode. But regardless, Leeds smashed the season, win the title, which is what the board asked of us to do. And in the Carabao Cup, it doesn't count towards our objectives, but I thought I'd show you this. We were knocked out in the second round by Manchester United away at Old Trafford, so no shame in that. And as for the FA Cup, we were asked to reach the round of 32 by the board, and as you can see, we were knocked out in the the 4th round even, by Arsenal in a replay at Elland Road. So at the Emirates Stadium even, after we held them at Elland Road to a goalless draw. So no shame in getting knocked out to Arsenal, like of course what happened in real life as well. We still managed to reach the round of 32 the FA Cup and win the league title as well. So both our domestic objectives were hit. That means that why my manager rating dropped so deeply, I don't know, 68 overall. But anyway, hit both our objectives and smashed winning the championship in our first season. And with the young talents we brought in, Pedrosa at left back, he grew 2 ratings in the first season and had a very successful first year, scoring 3 goals in 28 games. Of course, we signed Garcia for the bench. He grew 3 ratings in the first season, so already he's better than Berardi, who we sold at the start of the season, come the end of the first season. And again, at just 19 years old, has a very high ceiling. Max Aaron scored 2 goals in 26 championship games and grew 2 ratings as well. So both our young fullbacks looking impressive in our first season, along with Garcia as well. And as for the new midfielder we signed, Kökçü, the young Turkish lad who came in to replace Pablo Hernandez long term, as you could see after Click had an amazing season there. Kökçü had an amazing debut year, 10 goals and 2 assists in 33 championship games for the young 18-year-old. He only grew 1 rating, which I was quite disappointed about, but anyway, his stats were very impressive, if not his attribute growth. But as for Idah as well, he grew 4 ratings in the first season despite barely playing, and that's why I would again recommend a young third choice striker for Bamford and Augustine, because Augustine's only here on loan. Bamford's not going to grow too many ratings, but a young third choice striker will grow very quickly in your side, despite not getting much game time, like Idah did, or Troy Parrott would as well. But yeah, Leeds United, what a successful first season for the Elland Road faithful, smashing the record points in the Championship, doing it undefeated as well, and reaching around the 32 of the Cup as well. Are Leeds going back to the top flight? Well, if you make these signings, they certainly will in your Leeds United career mode. Some really good young talent coming in, 5 new players getting signed, the oldest being Pedrosa at 21 years old. The future looks very bright at Elland Road. But that will end today's episode of Who to Sign For, guys. So a big fan for it. If you have enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy today's episode, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Who to Sign For very soon.